Hey, welcome back. It is Caitlin. We're here with another episode of Get Wasted now. This has been a long time coming. This has been you guys without pretty much any episodes for about a month. This guest and everybody that I've had on, there's something going on and my computer just does not like the audio. However, it's not Sunday. Why have I put out an episode and it's not Sunday? I wanted to put this episode out because a lot has happened in the last month. A lot has happened in the last 2 years, to be right honestly truthful about it. I've started this podcast, I've got my GWC like clothing stuff, I've got a lot going on. So, you know, I always have been just like, yeah, fuck it, do it whenever, do it when I can. And the pandemic provided me the perfect time to start doing stuff that, you know, was limitless and I could do as and when I saw fit, whatever, you know. So that has slightly changed. I do not have the same time that I had when I started this, and as much as regularly I would like to continue to put things out when the technology allows for that, it's perfect. But until then, you have to just bear with me. However, there's some stuff that I wanted to talk about, and I wanted to talk about it because I feel like a lot of recent behaviour and a lot of stuff that I'm seeing, I have a lot to say about it. Everyone is talking about hot girl summer. It is around the fucking corner. Like, start doing some ab work now, guys. Like, start doing all the floor workout and all your home workouts until the gyms are open, because obviously it's not till the end of April. Your bitch, me, Caitlin, if I could say my fucking name, I'm going to be another year older in about 2 weeks' time. In fact, less than it is now, since this is recorded on the 31st of March 2021. In 11 days' time, I will be a year older. Can you believe? Because I fucking can't. Almost a year of Get Wasted, regardless of a few gaps. But what I wanted to say was, I have noticed a lot of things coming out being like, yeah, you might be in a relationship now, but when everyone gets released back into the wild, they're going to go fucking nuts. It's going to be a lot of infidelity, a lot of cheating, a lot of nonsense, a lot of bullshit, a lot of stuff you don't want to be caught up in necessarily. And I wholeheartedly agree. I think everyone should be on their best behaviour. But this also brings me to, this pandemic has seen a lot of fucking breakups. This pandemic has seen a lot of cheating, a lot of scandal, a lot of open relationship, third-seeking people, and it blows my mind. But what I have been dealing with recently on one side of my life is lies, dishonesty, lies, more lies, sneaking about, slyness, lies, dishonesty, disrespect. And I wanted to address it because I have a lot of girl pals. I have a lot of guy pals too. Obviously, I've always stated that I am surrounded by men in my entire life. Blood, water, around the general vicinity of my life is men. And obviously, women have it harder. That's no lie. That's no secret. Not all men. Fuck off. I don't care. What I have come to realise and have found and have seen and have witnessed and have experienced is people will lie like their life depends on it for no real reason. Yes, sometimes telling the truth is hard. Sometimes you don't think. Men don't think, and the blowback from that can be quite detrimental to the cushy situation you're in. I don't support that. If you're going to lie, if you're going to be deceitful and nasty and disrespectful and not have the common fucking decency to own up to your mistakes, then you get what you're given and you get the cards you're dealt, because those cards are the cards you picked, my friend, when you decided to act like a fucking prick. A lot of guys have come up on my Tinder and they don't have pictures, they don't have anything like other than a name, and even at that, it's not a real name. if you've seen the Instagram, I did do a blind dating thing where it was like, pick your bachelor or whatever, and they were funny. I have screenshotted probably over 100 of these accounts. Now, not all of them obviously are dodgy people, but like, I was speaking to a girl about this as well, and it's that kind of anonymity, fucking hell, anon vibe, the anonymity of people, and how they expect the other to be so transparent, so up, forward, coming, no messing, no harassing, no nothing, fuck all. And that bothers me because they expect full honesty, full effort, full everything from that person, but they themselves are lying and deceiving and doing all the bad things. Doing all the bad things, and a lot of husbands looking, I'm married, I'm looking for fun, don't report me, don't match to tell me how much of a scumbag I am. Well, sir, you are a scumbag. You are an absolute scumbag. It blows my mind. It blows my mind, some of the stuff that goes on. And then on top of that, people that say, if you're straight with me, I'll be straight with you. There's nothing fucking straight about you. You're literally as straight as a fucking circle. You're a sphere, not a fucking edge to you. So, in that, a lot of guys will tell you that they don't want anything or whatever else. Now, we've obviously spoken about the fairy godfather before, and if you find yourself in a situation where a man is telling you he does not want anything, and you're like, oh but, like, fine, fair enough. The issue does not come from the man telling you he doesn't want something. The man is the issue. I'm right in saying that. The issue comes when the man is not honest about the situation. The issue comes when the honesty is gone, because then you can't trust a single fucking thing that person has said. On another line of that conversation is, in any agreement with anyone, you should just be open and honest and just literally, like, the whole speak your truth. That's your fucking time to shine. If you have something to say, if you have something you want to address and do and whatever, if you're not happy, if you're very happy, if you're in love, if you hate them, if you use their toothbrush to clean the toilet, you know, coming clean has its advantages. Being honest and open is like the only way forward. And to be anything other than is a waste of time. A waste of time, a waste of effort, a waste of everything for both parties, because how much effort have you gone to stop that person from finding something out? How much effort have you gone to find out that person has been lying to you this whole time? How much of an emotional labour did you sink into this other person in your situation with them, only to find out you mean fuck all other than, conversation, other than company? You're not valued in a situation where someone is lying to you, and I stand by that. Like, in a general sense of, like, communication, it has to be there. If you're communicating with someone and what you're communicating is utter shite, then you reap what you sow. I'm sorry to tell you, that's the truth. Karma is real. The circle of life is called that for a reason. What you push out is what you'll pull back in. I tell you that now. And this is something, obviously, I've said, like, a lot of people deal with it, like, a lot of dishonesty, and people are nasty. People make their own choices all the time. It can be redeemed, it can be salvaged by just coming clean about it and telling the situation as is. A lot of people are nasty, a lot of people are, cruel intentions, and a lot of, like, nastiness and badness in people, and you cannot accommodate, like, that behaviour, and you cannot put yourself through that. So, like, it's hard to have to cut people off, but if they're not being honest from the jump, then you cannot guarantee that they're going to be honest down the line. If you're not honest at the beginning when there is nothing to hide, what's going to happen for the bigger things? if you are setting yourself up to like avoid someone asked me the other day, it was actually someone I used to talk to, this is another thing, so this is a kind of manipulation thing. This is like a kind of narcissistic nonsense. And if you go and look up the Fairy Godfather, there's loads and loads of stuff that he talks about in his dating relationship nonsense. I say nonsense, the whole fucking thing's nonsense. But anyway, he's quite insightful, and he's worked with like a lot of like doctors and things that work in behavioural analysis, blah 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 blah. And if someone is calling you like weak-minded and saying to you that you are a compulsive liar, and you know that you have been nothing but honest and nothing but like headstrong, can you imagine someone saying that to me? You're weak-minded. Okay, well that's obviously a lie. Are you looking in a mirror as you say that? Because then if you push and you're like, how am I weak-minded? Well, how are you strong-minded? How are you not? Well, I asked you a straightforward question, and if I was weak-minded, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have questioned you on how this is the situation. I would have just been like, no, 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 and I'm not like that. And it becomes a kind of situation of like, it's smoke and mirrors, essentially. And honesty and choosing the right thing to do and being honest and open with people is just not the done thing. And a lot of other stuff has gone on. I have said like a lot of stuff has happened, and a lot has happened recently. Literally today I am just home from a funeral, as morbid as it is, but I just felt there was so much that I was thinking about, and so much that I felt was a necessary conversation, and a lot of things that people maybe don't think about, and when they do think about them, they maybe don't voice it. And I've created this platform to do exactly that, for life and love in general, nonsense, antics, whatever. Anything I want to talk about, I can. This is why I created this. I so happen to enjoy talking to creative people and musicians and people that are working hard and building their own thing. I enjoy watching that. I think it's very inspiring, and I like to connect with like-minded people. However, I also built it to talk about the nitty-gritty and stuff that maybe is not so much spoken about and that needs to be discussed. Recently, I have, and everything obviously has been transparent from the jump, even my Pablo story, even everything, like everything is real, everything is just what I got up to, and that's just the hard facts. So here it is, the plain and simple truth. At the end of the day, at the end of it all, who's around you? Who's around you? Have you made the right choices? Have you surrounded yourself with people who are surface level? Have you surrounded yourself with people who don't care too much other than to say they know you? Is it all for show? Do you value the people that value you? There's a lot to be said for who is there at the end of the day when there's nothing going on that's checking in on you. People are selfish. People are very, very selfish. It is very, very hard to sometimes see past yourself, but to never see past yourself and see other people that are struggling or working or doing something of value to people around them. To never see past your white picket fence is unfathomable. To be so wrapped up in your own delusion. I was just thinking, like, everyone makes choices, and to watch people go down the wrong path and to follow in with people who do not have the best intentions, like, are the people you are surrounded by in life the ones that you want around? Are they someone you can count on? Are they reliable, dependable? Do they love you? Do they support you, and do they want the best? Or are they people that you think it would be good to know? Are they people that you don't really know, don't care for, but, you know, they're taggers on, they're there, they're nothing special, and you can't rely on them? Is it surface level? Is it niceties? Is it a genuine, true connection? Or are they just there to say that they know you or you know them? And are you surrounded by the people that are going to inspire and encourage and support you in all you do? Or are you going to find yourself at the end of the day with people that are there for themselves and themselves alone, with no support for you, and it literally is to be the centre of attention? Because a lot of people really do not there's this weird, I don't know how else to say this, it is selfish. There's selfishness. There's a lot of nastiness and selfishness in people, which, you know, everybody wants the best for themselves. Without a doubt, that's life, that's what you want, that's what you strive for. You don't go out and like buy all this designer gear and post all like your cute stuff on Instagram and whatever else to, you know, not show off, I suppose is like the right terminology. Like you're doing it to show off and show that you have things, whatever else. But are you, you know, does it go deeper than that? Have you thought about who's going to be there and who's around you? Or are you just having a good time right now? You know, there's the term fair weather friends. Is that what you've got? Do you want that? Are you happy with that? Like I would rather be in a big room with a small circle than lost in a crowd. I would rather be rolling around the floor in stitches, sides splitting, tears rolling out of my fucking eyeballs, with a small group of people who would see no harm come to me, than to be in a group of people, a crowd that would trample over you to get to the front. Do you know, like, there's such a big difference in that scenario, and that's exactly how I'm viewing people right now, because people will show you their true colours eventually. An example of this actually would be, recently I have stopped messaging a lot of people, and I've kind of recoiled back a little bit, and you'll probably, if you do follow the socials, will have noticed this as well. I am doing the bare minimum because everything just drains my batteries right now. There's no other way to put it, there's no other way to say it, and like this is possibly very, very fucking depressing, but I did say that it was going to be a bit more somber and a bit more real, and that's exactly what it is. Like, everybody is having their own struggles, everybody's got their own battles to face, and it's hard. It is hard. And recently I have recoiled back into doing the bare minimum, what is best for me, because I obviously need the time. This genuinely has been the third funeral in a year and a half. It has been heavy. It has been a lot. And from that very first one, nothing, like, the wounds are still there, and all that nonsense of losing someone who has had such a massive impact on your life, to then, in the space of a year and a half, have two more. It's very, like, it's like when you pick a scab off and it bleeds again, is probably the best way to put it. And people grieve in different ways, and people need more time than they maybe realise, or how they first view things, or how they process the trauma. But back to me recoiling. So back to that. Basically, someone who told me that they were going nowhere was having a temper tantrum because they got caught out. Now, this is a longer story, and it will come probably down the line when I am in a better headspace for telling it, and when I can put my usual spunk into it. And the story goes that I was just like not too bothered. They could do whatever they wanted, and I was just like chilling, you know, doing what I was doing. Now, I told them that this person had passed away, and it was at the start of the week, and we hadn't spoke on the phone or anything, and I genuinely felt like it wasn't something you could just text someone. I felt like this was fine, and this person had been in my life at the time of the first funeral, and the first funeral was without a doubt the hardest, and they were nowhere to be seen. So I already knew the support wasn't quite going to be much, and they said, why didn't you tell me? Well, why should I have? Because we've just kind of rekindled talking. They were busy, I was busy, there was a lot going on, and I was just dealing with it myself, which a lot of people will do. They will just kind of plod along and do what they're doing themselves, which, you know, there is no harm in foul, and there's no badness, and there's no like weakness in asking and reaching out for help, because we all will need help along the line, and you would never wish your friends to go through it alone. So extend that kindness to yourself, and if you need to, like, you should reach to those closest, those around you, which again falls back on to who is around you. But they knew that this had happened, and I still never saw that person that whole weekend. In fact, one night he went very quiet, and I asked him a question, and I jokingly made a joke. Could you imagine seriously making a joke? And I said to him, like, can you prove this? And I was joking because he told me what I was saying was bullshit. And he went nuts because he thought I was talking about something else when I was talking about this. And because he was guilty, he was being dishonest, there was a lot of animosity and maliciousness in his behaviour, and he wasn't thinking clearly about what I had just said. And because I was not reaching out to him, and because I was not rushing to help him in his time of need, which, by the fucking way, seems to be every day of his fucking life, I was the bad guy. And he tried to antagonise, and really he tried so hard to get a response. I didn't do a single thing. This person removed me from certain social medias, and then because I didn't touch anything, everything was just sitting there, and I must have been somewhere on his like bubble or whatever it was for this app, and he kept asking me like why I was ignoring him, or telling me that I was this and the next thing, that was frying his head. He never once in that silent period reached out to say like, are you okay? What's going on? How are you doing? Nothing. His immediate response was to act like he was the one that was suffering. He might have very well been suffering, but he wanted that attention on him, even though he knew what I was dealing with. So there's that selfishness that doesn't necessarily come out in grief and in death. There's that selfishness that is just always going to be there in people, and you just can't have those people in your life because they are nothing. They're literally, the term is like an energy vampire. They just want you to be there for them when they decide they want you, but they will not be there for you when you need them the most. And this is something that I had been thinking about all day. Obviously, that situation is a couple of weeks old now, but very, very, like, specifically, a lot a lot of pain and a lot of nonsense goes on in death and in relationships, and in a way, like, there's so much to be said for life and death. Everyone's like, oh, you don't want to have any regrets, you don't want this, you don't want to do that. Are you not going to regret fucking about the people that genuinely did care for you or do care for you, and fucking about so much that they are no longer interested, that they know you as the fair weather friend? Do you want that to be your legacy? And I think people should think about this sooner rather than later, so that when the time comes and reality sets in and they don't, because this is what I was thinking as well, like, a lot of it is too little too late, and there's no too little too late more than being dead in the ground. Too little, too fucking late. What are you going to do about it now? Not a thing. You made those choices. You chose this life. You chose these people. And I think that is one of the biggest things. Are you going to be happy? Are you going to be content? If you fall ill, are those people going to come round? Are they good people? Are you in good hands? So this being said, it has been a time. It has been a big, big time, and I just wanted to put this out there because obviously, like, this is life and nitty gritty and everything else, and I did say that I would talk about everything and anything, and I feel like a lot of questions, and this is, you know, unfortunately, I have been granted the insight to people and death and a lot of things that people my age maybe haven't experienced, or, you know, obviously I'm very, very lucky and fortunate to have the life that I have had so far, and even more fortunate are those who have not had death so close to home. But I do feel like a lot of people live a very fucked up way, and it will come back to bite them because they don't think about it in a broader sense. So this is something I just wanted to put out there. It literally is so much of a big deal. Who do you want there? And do you value the people that value you? Do you value those people, or do you assume that they themselves don't need what you want from people? Do they not deserve the same kindness that they are offering you? Are you so selfish yourself to overlook them and to assume that they'll always be there? So that is the thought. That's the reality of it. People are fickle and people are weird. Life is chaotic. I just think it's very interesting. I just think it's a lot to think about. And I think a lot of people don't think about it until too late, which is the main reason. What a world we live in. COVID times, boys and girls. COVID times. However, I think on this somber note, the DMs are open. The Twitter the Twitter is open. Whatever the fuck you want to try and contact me on is open. Will you get a response? Right now my head's like a fucking scrambled egg, so you'll be lucky. It's up to you what you do next. But I would take what I've just said as like err on caution. Just watch what you're doing and who you're doing it to, because not everyone's going to be there when the time comes. When the curtain falls on that last call, and I think that is exactly where I'm going to leave this. I don't think there will be another episode for a while. There has been so much going on. I will update socials, and those people who want to can reach out. If not, do not worry about it. I hope you have the best day. Easter Sunday's coming, motherfuckers. Jesus is back. Go to Mass if you can. Do what you need to. I hope you're still staying off the bad stuff for Lent. I'm off the bad stuff for Lent. I'm still going strong, guys. Would you believe? Would you fucking believe? I hope you're all loving, living, laughing as hard as the Karens do. And I will speak to you soon.